वर्षाचा टीचिंग एक्सपिरियन्स अवॉर्ड खूप आहे, तरी थोडेसे सांगतो. नॅशनल टेक्निकल टीचर अवॉर्ड आता यावर्षी मिळाला 5 सप्टेंबर 2022 साली. गोल्ड मेडल आहे त्यांना फर्स्ट रँक. 1000 US awards at Canada, Hong Kong in 2005. Best paper awards IIT Kharagpur in 2003. Best paper awards New York, USA in July 2007. Even first rank in MPSC exams for the post of assistant engineer, electrical engineers. अशी त्यांची फर्स्ट रँक पण आहे. ही जे recognized PG, PhD guides for Pune and Shivaji University. He has worked as a faculty member SNCU training conducted at UNICEF, technical consultant at Kolhapur City Hospital. मी आता एवढं वाचत नाही, खूप त्यांचा मोठा बायोडाटा आहे. सरांनी जवळजवळ बऱ्याच ठिकाणी बरेच अवॉर्ड्स मिळवलेले आहेत. त्यांनी 167 एक्सपर्ट लेक्चर्स म्हणून दिलेले आहेत. सरांनी त्यांच्या काळात जवळजवळ 53 लाखाची मॉडरॉकच्या अंडर्स त्यांनी ग्रँट मिळवलेले आहेत. असे HOD, US मेंबर्स, AICTचे एक्सपर्ट, MBA कोऑर्डिनेटर्स, मेंबर ऑफ AICT अशा बऱ्याच ठिकाणी सरांनी काम केलंय. त्यामुळे सरांचा बायोडाटा खूप मोठा होता. त्यांना मी छोटा हा ऑफिशियल बायोडाटा मी वाचून दाखवला. आता सरांची माझी ओळख सांगतो. मी 1988 साली KBP पॉलिटेक्निक मध्ये जॉईन झालो. सर 1989 ते 1991 2 वर्ष KBP पॉलिटेक्निक मध्ये आमच्या बरोबर होते. हस्ताक्षर एकदम सुंदर अक्षर, सुंदर नोट्स. त्यांच्या नोट्स जर तुम्ही बघितल्या तर खूपच सुंदर नोट्स. नंतर सगळ्यात महत्त्वाचं सरांच्याकडे बघितल्यानंतर तुम्हालाही जाणवणार नाही, पण मी बघितले सर उत्तम क्रिकेटर आहे, बॅट्समन आहेत सर. खरं सांगायचं म्हणजे ते बाकी सगळं सोडून हातात बॅट घेतली की मग काय त्यांचं क्रिकेट मधलं भरपूर त्यांचं हे आहे, लोकांना आपलंसं करणार. म्हणजे माझ्यासारख्याला मी परवा कराडमध्ये गेलो होतो, असा हळूच कडेनं विचारत आपलं गेलो बाजू सर येऊ का, अरे आरती मला निघे आरते म्हणतात ते ही आरती सर खुर्चीवर उठून मला आलिंगन दिलं. म्हणजे ही सरांचा मोठेपण आहे. अशी मोठी व्यक्ती आपल्याला आज 2 तास आपल्याला काय काय सांगणार आपण सगळं ऐकूया. मला इथं बोलण्याची संधी दिली. थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.
सर्वांना परत एकदा नमस्कार. आज आपण फॅकल्टी डेव्हलपमेंट प्रोग्रामच्या निमित्तानं ABITचे काही प्राध्यापक प्राचार्यांना सुद्धा बोलवलेलं होतं. ज्ञानश्री सातारा पॉलिटेक्निक फलटण या परिसरातून या पॉलिटेक्निक मधून आलेल्या सर्वच प्राध्यापक मित्रांचं मी या कर्मवीर भाऊराव पाटील पॉलिटेक्निक तर्फे मनस्वी त्यांचं स्वागत करतो. आपले सगळे फॅकल्टी मेंबर्स, आजचा जे सरांचा सेशन आहे इव्हॅल्युएशन पर्सेप्टिव्ह हा खऱ्या अर्थानं MBAचा गाभा घटक आहे म्हणायला काही हरकत नाही. आणि एक 15-20 दिवसापूर्वी ज्यावेळेला MPTच्या या 3 दिवसाचा प्रोग्राम करायचं ज्यावेळेला मनामध्ये घेतलं त्यावेळेला पहिला फोन मी सरांना केला. कारण आता बुद्ध सरांनी जसं सांगितलं बांधल सर हे कर्मवीर भाऊराव पाटील इंजिनिअरिंग आणि पॉलिटेक्निकचं पार्ट अँड पार्सल आहे. ते आमचे पूर्वीचे सहकारी म्हणून राहिलेले आहे. आणि सरांचा शैक्षणिक आलेख जर पाहिला तर बुद्ध सरांनी अतिशय शॉर्ट याच्यामध्ये परंतु अगदी चांगल्या पद्धतीने विशद केला. पण सरांचं अजून एक वैशिष्ट्य मला आपल्या सर्वांना सांगायचं आहे की आजकाल PhD करायला 5 ते 6 वर्ष लागतात. मी पुणे विद्यापीठातून PhD आम्हाला 6 वर्ष लागली. परंतु बांधल सरांची IIT मुंबईची PhD 2.5 वर्षामध्ये त्यांनी प्राप्त केलेली आहे. आणि अगदी यंग वयामध्ये सरांनी IIT मुंबई सारख्या भारतातल्या इन्स्टिट्यूट ऑफ नॅशनल इम्पॉर्टन्स त्याचा दर्जा नेहमी नंबर 1, 2, 3 याच्यामध्ये राहिलेला आहे. या IIT मुंबईचे जे मध्ये पदव्युत्तरमध्ये PhDचे स्नातक आहेत. आणि दुसरी गोष्ट म्हणजे NBAच्या वेगवेगळ्या कमिट्यांचे चेअरमन पद किंवा एक चांगल्या पद्धतीचं अधिकार पद सरांनी भूषवलेलं आहे. NBAचा खडा सरांना माहिती आहे. शासकीय तंत्रिकेतून करायला गतवर्षी जे MBA प्राप्त झालं त्याचा पाया बांगल सर त्यावेळेला कराड गव्हर्नमेंट पॉलिटेक्निक कराडचे प्राचार्य होते, त्यावेळेपासून सरांची एक हे होती की या जुनी संस्था आहे, हिला म्हणजे या संस्थेला NBA accredited झालं पाहिजे अशा पद्धतीनं सरांनी एक त्यावेळेला मेहनत मोठी घेतलेली होती. आणि मी सांगितल्या सरांना म्हटलं सर आम्हाला जरा थोडंसं मार्गदर्शन कराल का, कारण हे 40 वर्षापूर्वीचं जुनं पॉलिटेक्निक आहे आणि महाराष्ट्र शासनानं आपल्याला सिव्हिल मेकॅनिकल आणि ENTC ला एक्सलंट दर्जा दिलेला आहे, आपलं प्रवचन झालेलं आहे आणि कॉम्प्युटर IT आणि इलेक्ट्रिकल व्हेरी गुड दर्जा आहे आणि आम्हाला सर यावेळेला MBA ला आम्हाला त्याच्यामध्ये उतरायचं आहे किंवा सामोरं जायचं आहे. सर म्हणजे विदिन नो टाइम आय एम एबल रेडी टू गाईड यू. त्यामुळं सर आपल्यामध्ये आलेले आहेत. जास्त वेळ न घेता या रयत शिक्षण संस्थेच्या कर्मवीर भाऊराव पाटील पॉलिटेक्निक या ज्ञान मंदिरातर्फे मी आदरणीय आमचे डॉक्टर विठ्ठल बांगल साहेब यांचं मनपूर्वक स्वागत करतो, अभिनंदन करतो, त्यांचे आभार पण मानतो, कारण त्यांनी इतका बिझी शेड्यूल सरांचं असतं त्यातही सरांनी वेळ दिलेला आहे. त्यामुळं जास्त वेळ न घेता मी बांगल सरांना रिक्वेस्ट करतो की त्यांनी आपलं मनोगत किंवा त्यांचं मार्गदर्शन सुरू करा.
मला वाटतं तुम्ही ऑडिएबल आहे. एम आय ऑडिएबल? आय गेस आय शुड बी ऑडिएबल बिकॉज आय एम अ टीचर.
माईकची अरेंजमेंट करूया.
चालेल असेल तर इट्स ओके. नाही मला माझ्याकडे प्रेझेंट आहे, मला काय
तुम्हाला जे
नाही स्लाइड्स माझ्या
ओके
अच्छा I hope this is readable because slides screen तुम्हाला पुरेसा आहे. कारण मागच्या प्लीज पुढे आला तर तुम्हाला स्क्रीन व्यवस्थित दिसेल. चालेल काही हरकत नाही, किंवा असं पण मला ओके काही प्रॉब्लेम. Okay, good afternoon to all. Thank you, Dr. Sheikh, R.T. Guzar sir. My friends actually, all are my friends. Jayant Jagtar, Godse sir, we used to play cricket on the ground. So they all are my friends, and I'm really happy to come again and discuss with you, talk to you people. What I'm going to share with you is my last 15 years experience as an MBA evaluator. I have visited country almost east, west, north, south. Next month I am going to Odisha for one MBA visit. Last month I had been to Rajkot for one MBA visit. So every alternate month I go for one MBA visit. I normally don't go that frequently because I have to take care of office also. But yes, last 15 years I am associated with MBA. The draft or in fact the SAR which you are referring, which was developed in October 2015 and started using from 2016. I am one member who has been part of drafting this SAR. So I am involved to that extent that drafting the SAR and obviously as an evaluator for last 15 years. So today I am going to share with you my experience as an MBA evaluator. Whenever we go to any visit, I normally go as an expert for if I go as a chairman, obviously it will be overall responsibility. But when I go as an expert, I go as an expert for electrical engineering as well as electronics engineering. So for these two disciplines, I go as an MBA expert. So I am going to share exactly what we expect from an academic program or from an institute as an evaluator. So in fact, as you all know that for a diploma, 9 criteria are there: student information and obviously performance. Then criteria number 5 is related with the faculty information and contribution. Criteria number 6 talks about your facilities and technical support, which speaks about the facilities. And criteria number 7 is the gist of all first 6 criteria, which is a continuous improvement. Criteria number 8 and 9, they are related with the first year. For undergraduate program, obviously they are exclusive. Here they are inclusive, because criteria number 8 is the student support systems, and criteria number 9 is institutional governance, financial resources and support. This is how the 1000 mark evaluation for diploma program. In a diploma program, more weightage is given to a program. Out of 1000 marks, 875 marks are devoted for a program, and only 125 marks are given for the institute level criteria. That is criteria number 8, 50 marks, criteria number 9, 75 marks. That's how 125 marks. It means 87.5% weightage is for a program. Therefore, program has to prepare well. Institute marks will not vary much. Let me tell you, whenever we go for evaluation, let me tell you honestly, on day 1 in the evening only we decide whether this program will get accreditation or not. Because on day 1 we realize what the institute is all about or what the program is all about. So the first impression is very, very important. So the presentation of a principal and presentation of head of the department to the evaluator, that matters a lot. Obviously templates will be given to you by NBA for presenting for principal as well as for HOD also. So 875 marks, more emphasis is given in a program. Evaluator will spend 16 to 18 hours in a program. And for diploma, only one evaluator comes. For degree, 2 evaluators will be there, but for diploma program, only one evaluator. It means if you are going for 5 programs, 5 evaluators will be there and 1 chairman. So maybe 6-member team will be visiting your institute. Even I had gone to an institute where only 1 program they have applied. So only we were 2, chairman and me. So chairman will only check related with criteria number 8 and 9. His responsibility lies only with these 2 criteria. So his domain is only of 125 marks. Program evaluator has a major domain, 875 marks evaluation. Program evaluator is going to give, and that's why it's very, very important. And I'm going to share with you that what exactly we expect when we come to the institute for evaluating. So, as you all must be knowing, this is a standard flowchart for obviously an NBA accreditation process. Every institute you must have completed or you must have gone through some of the stages already. Every institute needs to get empaneled on the NBA portal. That is called empanelment. Empanelment fee is a 1 lakh rupees plus GST, everything plus GST. So, and that is one time. It's like empanelment. So once you are empaneled, you can apply any time for the accreditation as and when your program becomes eligible. Because now pre-qualifier is there. Unless and until you don't go through pre-qualifier, you will not be allowed to submit your ESR. Now everything is ESR. Even we get your ESR 3 weeks before. Now the visit which is scheduled in next month on 24, 25, 26. I have received a call yesterday only. Today I got a mail. Now Monday I will receive a SAR. So usually evaluator will get SAR 3 weeks before. My habit is that I take a printout, I go through it, 20 hours I spend, everything I mark in my SAR, whatever are my observations. Because that is the only thing. 2 things which normally browse, one is a SAR copy which is shared by NBA to us, and second is your website. Your website is a mirror to the outside world, and that's why it is very, very important. You must keep your website updated in the context of outside world, because they don't know anything else. Whenever I go through SAR, then parallelly I browse your website also. Because we have to write our pre-visit report in which we have to mention whether these things are also available on the institute website. And that's why, like vision, mission, program educational objectives, or your laboratory information, that is infrastructure, your human resource information, everything must be available on your institute website. And also you must have a department page. Obviously you must be having these things. But first stage, as I said, register with NBA, and then whenever you become eligible, you can apply for accreditation. As Dr. Sheikh was telling me, that his 5 programs are now eligible. Obviously, you need a preparation of minimum 6 months for SAR. Please understand that. Minimum 6 months rigorous preparation of SAR, because SAR provides gist of what you are to the evaluator. Evaluator is not knowing anything. Evaluator will never contact you. You will not come to know who is evaluator unless and until they actually reach your institute. That kind of confidentiality, that kind of credibility NBA has maintained. I am not knowing today which institute I am going to visit. So that I will come to know only when I get a SAR. And clear guidelines have given to us that, and I don't know normally who is my co-evaluator also. Many a times when I go for engineering program, 2 evaluators are there. I come to know who is my counterpart only when I reach a hotel day before the actual visit. That time only I come to know who is my co-evaluator. That kind of confidentiality they maintain. The reason is that we both have to prepare our pre-visit report independently. We should not be biased, and that's why we don't know who is my counterpart in an MBA visit. When I am going for a diploma program, obviously I know that I am the only person who will be evaluating that program. Then pre-qualification, as you know, there are basic certain conditions for pre-qualification. In fact, diploma pre-qualification is much easier. If you ask me the gist, only 2 things are very important. One is admission, 50% admission. Another is the SFR, student faculty ratio, in the range of 1:30. Because AICTE says 1:25 is norms. NBA says 5% relaxation. Same is applicable for degree program also. For degree program, AICTE says 1:20, NBA says up to 1:25 you are eligible. So these are the only 2 major criteria. Rest criteria are not important criteria. And obviously, you will go only for accreditation once you have completed or once your 2 batches have been graduated or passed. It means that these are the only 3 basic conditions which are required for pre-qualified. Let me tell you, it is an automated process. So if you pay 10% fees and if you upload your SAR, submit your pre-qualified, within a day only you will get immediate response because it is an automatic process. Once your pre-qualified gets approved, you get 60 days window for uploading your SAR. And that's the reason my suggestion to all of you, unless and until your SAR is not ready to the extent of 70 to 80%, please do not feel pre-qualified. Because pre-qualified approval happens within couple of days. Maximum period for pre-qualified approval is 1 week only. Maximum period. So within 1 week, anyway, any institute, whoever has applied will get result of pre-qualified, either approved or not approved. But as you know that conditions, when you feel the pre-qualified, 99.99% cases pre-qualified will get approved, and then you get a 60 days window for submitting your SAR. That is known as self-assessment. After 2 months, once you upload your SAR, then normally NBA will ask you, give us 5 probable dates after starting from 2 months. 2 months is the period for processing them your whole application, because so many applications are lying there. So there is a cycle, and that's why they will ask you give 5 probable dates. Usually NBA visits will be on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you have to give 5 dates. First 3 dates you have to give with a gap of 1 week, and last 2 dates you can give a gap of 2 weeks. This is how a standard schedule is there. But quote unquote, if you have certain exigencies or you have some issues or problems with your institute in the context of preparation, and if you request them, can you postpone it, they do that. So it's not hard and fast, but for them to understand your readiness, they want you to communicate 5 probable dates for MBA visits. Then team will visit, chairman will submit the report, immediately the next day the visit concludes, and within a month, maximum 1.5 months, within a month you will get result of that, because there is a moderation committee to which that MBA report goes, evaluators reports, and after moderation committee, there is an evaluation and accreditation committee, which is subcommittee basically, which communicates you or which announces the result for accreditation. This is what is the simple flowchart with which you go through that MBA process. Same thing I have given, but as I said, it may not be readable, but this is macro level, this is macro level, this is micro level. Everywhere I have mentioned the days, how many days gap and all. The same thing which I have explained you, I have mentioned here. But because you may not able to read it, that's the reason I said I have discussed with you. I have already told you, as I told you that last 15 years I live with NBA. So everything is in my brain. Entire SAR is in my brain. I can speak for 12 hours on SAR. because I have prepared a case study based on my experience over last 15 years. So all these criteria and all, everything is there in my mind. I told you 875 marks for a program level and 125 marks for institute level criteria. Total evaluation is of 1000 marks. If your score is more than 600 and less than 750, you will get accreditation for the period of 3 years. And if your score is more than 750, accreditation for a period of 6 years. Accreditation for 6 years is extremely difficult. I must have visited around 60-70 institutions across the country, but unfortunately I could not get one institute where 6 years accreditation we could give. Maximum score, yes, in one institute, one program, maximum score was 731. We tried to push them, but unfortunately head of the department was not having doctorate. That's the reason we could not push beyond 750. So there are certain limitations, but yes, maximum score I have given is 731. And let me tell you very simple philosophy of all the evaluators, not me only. We consider holistically. Like when you assess the examination paper of the student, when the student gets a marks around 35 out of 40, you realize this candidate is not a fail candidate, he can be passed. So again you recheck and you check whether 1 or 2 marks can be increased so that he will get a grace and he will pass. Same thing we do. Once we realize by natural way of our evaluation, if your score wobbles around 560, 570, I am talking about out of 1000, then we push you to 650, 620, 630, because 52 sub-criteria are there. In every sub-criteria, if I increase 1 mark, you get automatically 50 marks more. So you get around 620, 630. So the moment we realize you are a pass candidate, then we push you. Real cannot get, but or otherwise, success rate is more than 95%, let me tell you. So be honest, be sincere in doing the preparation. Nobody is perfect, nobody expects you to score 1000 out of 1000. Be honest in your efforts, be genuine in your efforts. If you have not done certain things, say we have not done this. We will do it, but we have not done. Don't manufacture, don't create any record for the sake of creating it. Please do that. Please do not create any forged document, because the moment they realize that, then in subjectiveness, they will give you less mark, because they will realize, you are not genuine people. That message you have to give to the committee, to the team, that you are sincere. You might not have understood certain things, true, because nobody is perfect and nobody knows everything. So it's true that you might not be knowing many things, doesn't matter. But you have 1000 marks with you, you have to score only 600. Still there is a scope of 400 marks for you to improve. Think in that positive way, don't think in a negative way. This is a simple message to all of you. Please feel free to interrupt me during our discussion. I will be very happy to answer your question. It should not be a monologue. I have come here to discuss and share my experience. I will not go in detail, I am just telling you. There are two parts, part A and part B. Part A is basically institute information, which is very generic in nature. This is generic in nature, institute information. Generic in nature. Like when you are applying for first time, sometimes you may be going for re-accreditation, whether it's a first time accreditation, second time. AICTE approval, yes, it is mandatory. 5 years existence with AICTE must mandatory. You should not have any break in UOL. These are basic prerequisite conditions with which NBA will allow you to apply. Please keep it in mind. Obviously, NBA is accreditation. It means you are talking about quality aspects. In other words, you prove that you comply to the statutory norms of the statutory bodies. AICTE is the apex body, so you comply to AICTE norms, and that's why you are going for accreditation. And therefore, it is prerequisite, it is mandatory that every year's extension of approval you must have. And as far as possible, with the nil deficiencies you should have. As I said, AICTE has also allowed, if your faculty deficiencies up to 20%, they don't penalize you. So with those riders, but you should have a continuous UAS from AICTE for last 5 years. This is just information, like accreditation history, programs to be considered for accreditation by this application. In one application, you can go for maximum 5 programs at one go. You can go for accreditation at one go. And then subsequently, suppose you are having more than that program, or you can go in the second phase. One more advantage of this is that, suppose you are having 8 programs, in first go you are going for 5, and next cycle you are going for 3. Chairman normally remains the same. Chairman doesn't get changed so that there won't be any bias in terms of evaluation. So chairman will remain same. Obviously program evaluators will change because they are program specific and that's why they will change. But chairman normally doesn't change unless and until chairman himself is not available for some personal reason or otherwise. Normally NBA doesn't change the chairman for two different visits to the same institute. That's again NBA takes care of that. In order to have uniformity in terms of thought process as well as in terms of evaluation. Then obviously this is faculty data, regular faculty. Let me tell you certain things about faculty. Normally faculty, who will be considered? See, SFR is one aspect, another aspect is obviously the credentials of faculty. For SFR, there is a concept of fractional teaching load. You might be aware of fractional teaching load. Suppose I am a teacher and I am supposed to take 18 hours of a teaching load. Out of that, I am teaching to I belong to electrical engineering. So out of 18 hours, if I teach 12 hours to my program, so my fraction to be considered for program is 12 upon 18. And I am teaching to first year course wherein I am sharing load of 6 hours. So 6 upon 18 will be my fraction to other program. This is how fraction. Add all fractions together, that will give you what is F, total number. Students, when students will be considered, obviously, sanction intake, let us take a simple example, sanction intake is 60. And you have a lateral entry of 10% which is 6. So, what will be your maximum intake for 3 years? 192. Because 60 into 3 is 180 plus 6 into 2, 12. 192 is your maximum intake. So 192 divided by whatever F. In case you have actual admissions are more, obviously those will be considered. In case your actual admissions are less, then 192 will be the rider. That's all. Capping will be 192. Because 60 will be a capping. Unfortunately, you do not get any supernumerary quota. It is not your fault. So only 60 will be considered for calculation. So you will be given a benefit in case you do not have seats filled, all seats filled. But as I said, it will be based on actual students admitted to a program, SFR will be calculated. Faculty, as I said, visiting faculty will not be considered for SFR calculation. Visiting faculty. However, if you have appointed someone on a contractual basis, maybe for 11-month period, he or she will be considered for calculation of SFR. Only visiting faculty will not be clock hour basis when you will say, because Government of Maharashtra has recently published one GR, you must be knowing, on 17th April 2023, in which they have mentioned that for theory period you will get 800 rupees, for practical hours 1 hour for 400 rupees you will get. So those will not be considered for calculation of SFR. Then obviously institutional information, current academic year. Let me tell you, normally whenever visit will happen, they will consider current academic year. The definition of NBA for current academic year is, in pandemic they have changed it up to September 30th they were considering as an academic year, and even a faculty up to December 31st they were allowed. But now the current academic year means the academic year will start on 1st July. For example, 23-24 current academic year is the academic year which has started on 1st July 2023, which will end on 30th June 2024. So if you apply your SAR within this period, for you the current academic year will be 23-24. And then subsequent 3 years for a data. So 23-24 is your current academic year. It means 22-23, 21-22 and 20-21. These will be 3 assessment years for you. So you must have these 3 assessment years complete data with you along with current academic year. Another suggestion to all of you, which NBA will also ask you, suppose you have submitted SAR and visit is scheduled almost after 6 months. Before visit happens, NBA will allow you and will ask you, do you want to submit updated SAR? You can submit that time updated SAR, so that if some additional things you have done, you will get benefited out of it. So you will be given a chance to resubmit in fact updated SAR before your visit. And NBA will share updated SAR only with these evaluators. But they will be specifying this current academic year. I hope this is very clear to you. Then obviously data, CAY -1, I told you now the concept of the academic year. Right? Then total number of boys, total, this is statistical information. It has nothing to do with SFR calculation. This is just to understand what is a gender ratio, what is a diversity in your institute, to understand that. They will ask you the data for staff as well as for student also. They will ask you the boys, girls as well as male, female in terms of faculty also. And obviously these two names you have to communicate, because they will communicate, they will talk to these two people. Normally they will talk to head of the department. Whenever NBA visit is scheduled, head of the department will get a call from NBA regarding the dates. Do you want, we are planning to visit your institute on such and such date. Are you okay? Are you comfortable? You will get 3 weeks before the actual visit, principal will get a call. NBA coordinator will normally communicate, and at the time of visit, chairman will normally interact with the NBA coordinator. That's why these two names are very important. You can identify any person whom you feel that, oh, he can shoulder the responsibility of the overall coordination in the context of visit as well as preparing the SAR also, or you can appoint him or her as the NBA coordinator. Qualifiers I told you already, but just as I have put it in a slide. Essential qualifier, as I said, 5 academic years, AICTE are going for 5 academic years. Considering obviously the current academic year. Then average admissions 50%. This is another rider. And third is only SFR. That's all. 1:30. And 2 batches obviously. When your program has an existence of 5 years, it means your 2 batches have graduated. So these are only essential pre-qualifiers. You need to comply only essential pre-qualifiers. You may or you may not comply desirable pre-qualifiers. That doesn't matter. If you do not comply single desirable, it doesn't mean that you are disqualified. You are eligible. But essentially you have to comply. And these are 4 simple essential pre-qualifiers. These are desirable. I told you for 6 years of accreditation, oh, you must have diploma, must have a regular HOD, because there is a post of HOD. Well, one example I gave. But for 3 years accreditation, you may have, you may not have, doesn't matter. You may have given charge to someone else who is a senior in the department, as head of the department, is absolutely acceptable. Because of which you will not be deprived from MBA accreditation. I am saying 3 years accreditation. For 3 years accreditation, this is not mandatory. But for 6 years accreditation, it is mandatory condition or mandatory. What kind of graduates you want to produce from civil engineering department in this institute? So what is a promise? So PEOs or program execution objective is nothing but these are broad statements about the future accomplishments graduates will have. That's the reason PEOs are usually evaluated after 3 to 5 years. Earlier, NBA used to ask you assessment and attainment of PEOs. Nowadays, they don't ask because it will be contradictory. On one side, they are allowing you to apply after 2 batches are graduated. Then you may not have 3 to 5 years of data after graduation. And that's the reason NBA will ask you, yes, show the mapping of mission statement with program education objective. Mapping is correlation matrix. But they don't ask you assessment and attainment of that. And the reason is this only. So based on that, obviously I will give you the marks. Then indicate where and how the vision, mission are published and disseminated. There are 2 parts here. One is publishing, another is a dissemination. Publishing will give 40% marks, dissemination will give 60% marks. Now I will give a simple example how I do. Obviously that is my way of, secret way of doing, checking whether really people have understood that. Normally whenever you go to a visit, we ask HOD, I want some students, can you just ask them to gather in one classroom, some second year student and third year student. HODs are nowadays very smart, anyway they are smart. What they will do, they will train few students prior to a meeting. And they will ask those 8-10 students to assemble in one hall. Then what I do, I ask HOD, can you just take one small lock and key? I go there, I go inside the class, I tell them just enjoy for half an hour. I lock that room from outside. I ensure that there is no duplicate key of that lock. And then I ask HOD, take me to your classroom number, second year class, third year class, engineering final year class. And then I interact with those students. I ask them certain questions. If they are able to answer my question, then I understand there is a real dissemination. Otherwise, oh, they have trained only some student. That should not happen. This is what I do normally. So we don't expect, because everyone's involvement is very important. Because in every class there are some smart students. Don't do that. Involve everyone. They may not knowing everything. We don't expect them to read or reproduce bookish statement of vision and mission. But at least they know why they have joined this program. At least they know what they will do after completing this program. Do they know what is the objective of this program? At least in a broad sense, if they take, we do not expect any bookish answer from the student. Because the moment student starts giving bookish answer, it means he is pakka trained by the teacher. So we immediately realize. If some student, obviously my experience is good in many places. In spite of doing these things also, some students are really good in explaining the thing. But then I realized that yes, they have, the message has been percolated to them. We check that one. And that's why process of dissemination, I give more emphasis over here. This is what I have written here. Obviously, adequacy in terms of vision mission, or every notice board, your lab manuals, then prominent places, you will display your vision mission, prominent places, in corridors. See, the idea is that why this publishing is necessary. You might be having small kids also, no? Grown up also. You normally put the number charts in your bedroom or living room. What is the purpose? When child moves or child plays in a living room or in a bedroom, or maybe occasionally even the child picks up into these things, or child will memorize them. That is the idea. Same is the philosophy of publishing it at prominent places. HOD's room. So whenever faculty will come sit for a meeting, well, at least they will see that. That's the idea. That's the idea of publishing. And that's the reason you must publish it at prominent places. And dissemination, as I said, you must conduct meetings with stakeholders, maybe parents, maybe alumni, maybe your current student, faculty as well as staff. You must tell what is our vision, what is our mission, what we are doing, what is our program, educational objective. That's what is checked here. And that's the reason weightage is 10. So 10 marks I normally distribute as 40-60. 4 marks I give for dissemination, 6 marks I give for dissemination, 4 marks I will give for publishing. Then state the process of defining. Just now I told you, process of defining the vision, mission and program educational objective. Simple flowchart you can have. When we say flowchart depicts basically the flow diagram, how the information flows. You must have primary input for that, right? So for department vision mission, primary input is the institute vision mission. Secondary inputs are inputs from the stakeholders. So primary and secondary inputs you will amalgamate among all, and you will have a draft vision mission of your program. Again you will circulate them again among your stakeholders for revision, revisiting, and then finally you will publish it. This is a simple flowchart you can have for your vision, mission as well as program educational objective. For program educational objective, I told you 2 more things: data on a future and data on a trend. Also you can use for articulating your program educational objective. So we expect process. Now when I say process, you must have a documented process. You have to describe the process in your essay, as well as you must have documentary evidences for that process which you are claiming. I hope you are ready. So obviously documentary evidence. As an evaluator, I check documentary evidence. If you say, oh, we have conducted a meeting, I say, show me the minutes of meeting, show me who were present, show me to whom you have sent the invitation, show me who have given you input at the time of meeting as well as shared through email. So all these things I look at them. The moment I realize, yes, you are genuine, but then I give you the marks. Then I definitely give you the marks. That all evaluators will do that. They must realize that you are genuine in doing that. You are not doing simply a ritual. Don't do the ritual. Then this is last but not least, establishing consistency. When you say consistency, means mapping. Normally 3 levels are there for mapping. Level 1, 2, 3. These 3 levels, like you may define as high, medium, low, doesn't matter. But how do you discriminate that? A simple thumb rule I will tell you. Whenever you correlate something, pick up first of all keywords from your mission statement and keywords from your program educational objectives. So let us say M1, first mission statement, pick up a keyword from PO1. Try to find out what is the extent of correlation. If you realize the extent of correlation is more than 70%, or put 3. If the extent of correlation is between 50 to 70, put 2. If extent of correlation is between 30 to 50, put 1. And if you realize the extent of correlation is less than 30, put a dash. It is not mandatory that all the matrix cells should be filled only. Only thing you have to ensure, no complete row or no complete column should be empty. That's the only care you have to take. Doesn't mean that every cell should have some numbers. Not necessarily. So extent of correlation is very important. Dash doesn't mean zero correlation. Dash means correlation below some threshold level. That's the meaning of dash. Dash doesn't mean zero correlation. This is what we check, and you must have at the back end justification that why I have written 3. Because as an evaluator, I will ask you, can you explain me how you have written 3 here? If you are able to justify, explain, why will give you the mark? You have to in fact give 2 matrices. One is a correlation matrix and another is a justification matrix in SAR itself. And at the time of visit, you have to explain that justification. Hope it is clear. Anybody having any doubt in criteria 1? I just, whatever I said, I have just given one example, couple of examples, that's all, nothing else. See, vision. I told you, vision is a futuristic statement over a long period, and mission is means to achieve the vision. In fact, I told you the same thing. I gave you here one example. Create a high quality engineering professionals. High quality. I am going to talk about quality, not world class. And how? That's why I said mission is an imperfect present tense. I did not say to offer, to provide. No, then it is again a futuristic statement. Mission is not a futuristic statement. Mission is imperfect present tense. So how are you going to produce high quality engineering professionals? By offering them a well-balanced program of instruction. When I say well-balanced program means a well-balanced combination of a theory and practice. So balance between theory and practicals. So skills also. Then providing practical experience. It means you provide them internships, you will provide them industry exposure. So providing practical experience. And third, making available opportunities for overall personality development. So I will provide them the opportunity for their overall personality development. This is how you should write. Similar lines, one example of PU. What is a promise given to you? So, electrical engineering graduates should be employable in a diversified sector. So, professor in electrical engineering for 10 years in COEP. I ventured into administration out of passion because I thought I may able to influence 60 students in a class, but if I want to influence a system, then I should be a part of that system in administrative level. And I told you, I am happy to share, I shared with Dr. Sheikh sir. You all might be aware, Pragati scheme is there for girl students. Girls get 50,000 scholarship for engineering students. I mean diploma as well as degree. I am the person who has drafted that whole scheme for AICT. So you contribute here in the context of that. Your CN norms 2017 you are referring, all 63 pages. I was the chairman of the committee who has drafted everything. Curriculum assessment and implementation norms. See, that I could do because of administrative position. I came into the system where I can influence the system. So that was the reason I came here. So here we say, yes, graduates should demonstrate measurable progress in the field they choose, and obviously graduates will be able to communicate effectively, adopt lifelong learning, act with integrity and highest commitment to their ethical and social responsibilities. A promise given by a program to the candidate. Why you should join BTech Electrical Engineering program of COEP? Oh, this is our promise. And we could demonstrate that. This is how you should do. Do you have any questions about criteria number 1? Please feel free. As I told you, a lot of brainstorming is required in criteria number 1, 2 and 3. Rest criteria are number based criteria. So if you have any questions, I will be happy. Yes.
Most of students are going for higher education and very less are going for placement. So how we should write the keywords?
See, let me tell you, primary objective of diploma is not for higher education.
It is correct, sir, but actually
You should encourage them. See, now, I'll answer, please. See, now the K curriculum says more skills. NEP 2020 also says more skills. So, you should actually encourage. See, I did that experiment in Karad also as well as in Government Polytechnic Pune also. When I joined, placement was hardly 10%. I pushed it up to 45% now. See, we get a bright student. Now this year my computer first 3 students are having marks 100%. I got a problem in a hostel because 4 girls were there, a girl and 3 seats were there. A girl having 99.6 could not get asked. I have to do a special case for her because only 3 girl students and all 3 were 100% marks. We could encourage them. We said that we are not saying you don't do higher education, but the basis of diploma is industry needs you. See, Tata Motors Vice President, I spoke a month back, we were on one committee for AICT for articulating curriculum of EV for diploma in electrical engineering with a specialization in EV. And then he said, Dr. Bandal, we need 15,000 diploma electrical engineers in next 3 years. Do we produce? Not at all. Not at all. It means industry demand is very high and students are getting opportunities. You have to encourage them. You tell them that now NEP allows anyway multi-entry, multi-exit. So tell them that anyway you will be able to come back again if you want to do engineering, if you want to pursue higher education, no problem. But industry needs you, and getting some skills, getting some industrial experience, or you will do your engineering in a better manner because your learning skills will be better, your skills also will be better, even psychomotor skills also will be better. It is our role as a teacher, it is our role. I told you, I encouraged my HODs and I told them, you try to give a message, try to create awareness among the student. See, earlier computer IT companies were not coming to GP Pune. They said diploma engineers are not that matured. I spoke to Persistence Anand Deshpande sir. He said, share your curriculum with me. We shared our curriculum with me. And he said, your curriculum is really good. See, unless and until you don't go to people, they may not know what you are teaching to the student. What kind of skills you are imbibing in the students. No? You need to create a confidence in the industry, sir. Sir, I asked every teacher to have 2 industry friends. Today we have live 37 MOUs. We said you go to industry, invite them for expert lectures. Let them understand. Every year we invite only industry expert for evaluating final year projects. Being an autonomous institute, I can afford to that. And I said, no, doesn't mean we are underestimating academicians. But we are saying we get a different perspective from them. We understand what are the real industry issues. Now my 30% projects are from industry. So students are anyway getting exposure, they are working there. So indirectly they are getting motivated to join industry. I am saying simply bombarding or simply telling them that no, you should join industry, it won't serve the purpose. You need to show them what will be the benefits of joining the industry, or how industry is also needing you, or how the industry needs skilled manpower, how you will hone your skills, and how you will do in a better manner your engineering also. In fact, we had talk with Tata Motors. Tata Motors has given us a promise, sir, you tell your diploma engineers, we will then sponsor to BITS Pilani after a couple of years of their service. I am saying we need to do these things. We need to talk to people. We need to talk to industry. We said, sir, we'll give you the good student. But problem is that, as you said rightly, that students are saying, no, I want to do I want to go for higher education. But then they promise that, sir, we will ensure you that we will give them a chance for higher education with financial support also. Oh, then those students happily join them. So we have to find out means and avenues for doing that. But doesn't mean that then your PO should be oriented with that. No. Your PO should, what you want to do, PO should reflect that only. PO should reflect that only. But because the ultimate objective of diploma is not what you are saying. Higher education is not at all a purpose. That's the reason many people have a hue and cry when AICT in 2019 reduced the lateral entry from 20% to 10%. There was a hue and cry. In fact, discussions were going on that let us make it 0%. The basic reason was that they were saying are we producing diploma for higher education or for industry? For what purpose we are producing diploma engineers? So that was the reason that 10% it has been reduced to 10%. They say that why we want 20% or 30% student to go for higher education? We need industry there. But it's our job now as a teacher to give that message to the student. Right? Anybody has any question? I hope I have answered your question. Yes. Okay. Now program curriculum teaching learning. Now program curriculum teaching learning very important, 200 marks. This 200 marks, here lot of things. See, for a diploma, now for an engineering program, this is only for 100 marks. For a diploma program, 200 marks, because they feel teaching learning is very important as far as diploma program is concerned. And that's the reason, because we do many things in teaching learning, that's why weightages are also more. The first thing, teaching learning, 2.1.1, many times people do get confused. They say compliance of your curriculum with your board curriculum in the context of POs and PSOs. What extent? To what extent it complies? For that purpose you have to do two things. One, you have to do prerequisite analysis. What? Take one paper, simple paper, matrix, prepare a matrix with columns as semesters. So 6 columns, 6 semesters are there for diploma. Semester 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rows are your courses. Map in a matrix cell courses as your rows, columns as your semesters. And find out the mapping of these courses. For example, I have engineering mathematics 1 curriculum, let us say mathematics, fundamentals of mathematics, right? Foundation course. And then applied mathematics is a second semester course. What does it mean? For applied mathematics, prerequisite of foundation course, fundamental mathematics. You need to do mapping of your whole curriculum and identify whether there are certain courses directly introduced without either having prerequisite nor they are having prerequisite to some other course. These are your curriculum gaps. Identify these curriculum gaps and then identify the means to bridge those gaps. That is how you have to do the compliance, extent of compliance of your POs and PSOs. One. And second, map how many for each PO, how many courses are getting mapped. Find out that bar chart. Put a threshold and then you will realize certain POs are not at all mapped properly because of the curriculum. It means that you need some additional resources, additional courses, additional activities to be planned in order to bridge that gap. These are the two exercises you have to do in order to find out what is the gap, curriculum gap. And that's what extent of, state of process used to identify extent of the compliance of the board curriculum. This is a process. You have to do this process, then only you will realize to what extent your board curriculum. Please understand, board is devising a curriculum for an institute in Mumbai as well as an institute in Gadchiroli. They have to be generic, they have to understand the need of both. But perhaps the students who are entering to a diploma institutes in Mumbai and Gadchiroli may not be from the same strata, and that's why you have to identify the gaps and accordingly bridge those gaps. Perhaps you may have Pune and Mumbai may be into industrial hubs, IT hubs, you may have more exposures to the students which Gadchiroli or Nandurbar student may not have, or they need to devise their mechanism for bridging those gaps. So the actions which Nandurbar Institute will plan will be different than the KBP Institute which they will plan, or then the Government Polytechnic Pune will plan, or they will be different because you have different avenues with you. But you have to do this exercise. You have to do this. That's why I said PO and PSO and list curriculum gaps for attainment of POs and PSOs. That's the reason 25 marks are given. These marks will not be given to you just like that. You have to show that you have done lot of homework, lot of hard work you have done in this exercise. You have to show that on the paper. And you have to show, to bridge the gap, what activities you have planned, how you have conducted those activities. And it's not open loop. You have to also show what is the impact of those activities. That's the outcome. Because when you do something, Everything has an objective, that is a purpose, and also have expectations, that is outcome. So what was the purpose of carrying out that activity, and how could you realize that that activity has given and gained that outcome? So you have to do the impact analysis, and that's the reason for this 25 marks. And that's why, as I said, as an evaluator, I look into that. I ask you, show me the exercise which you have done, show me the activities, how you have identified the curricular gaps, and show me what kind of activities you have planned for bridging that curriculum. I hope you are getting my point. So 25 marks will not be given like that, but yes, you will be given marks, but obviously based on the actions. Then contains beyond syllabus. Even many times people get confused and mixed with curriculum gaps and content beyond syllabus. Content beyond syllabus is something different. For example, I am teaching a course. I am an electrical engineering graduate. That's why my examples will be more relevant and more tuned towards my engineering discipline. When I teach a machine course, and I might be teaching, let us say, a DC motor. I might be talking about construction, principle of operation, and I may be talking about only the characteristic of motor. My curriculum does not spell out about the application. So this application is a content beyond syllabus. Because I have to extend that. Then only student will understand the utility of this motor. Otherwise, what is the purpose of teaching them? So this is content beyond syllabus, which is not part of that. Someone is teaching mobile communication as a course, and you are teaching, because your curriculum has been designed maybe a few years back, so you might be teaching up to 3G. People talk now about 4G and 5G. That is content beyond syllabus. It is not gap, it is content beyond syllabus. Inviting industry expert. So what my suggestion will be, for content beyond syllabus, or you can invite industry expert for giving the content beyond syllabus. If you call someone who is a technical head, I am saying technical person, working in some service providers like maybe BSNL or Airtel or Jio or anyone for that matter, and if he or she talks on 5G network and the utility of 5G network or intricacies of 5G, it will add more value to the student, and they will realize these are the content beyond syllabus. So we ask, every course, does it mean that every course needs to have content beyond syllabus? Did not. Did not. You identify the potential courses. Because see, the normally courses which will be in a dynamic domain, the thrust areas or developments are very fast. That's why we call them as emerging areas. So you can identify certain few emerging areas in which you can identify content beyond syllabus. And who has taught you in teaching content beyond syllabus? You also may teach to the student content beyond syllabus, as well as you can invite some industry expert for teaching content beyond syllabus. So obviously, as I said, I will be documentary evidence of steps taken. So obviously, I will ask you, how did you identify? Now, how will you identify content beyond syllabus? Obviously, you will make a group of faculty members and you will give them a curriculum and you will ask them, please understand, because they have more wisdom. Teacher will always have more wisdom than a student. So you will ask group of faculty members, go through the entire curriculum, analyze the curriculum and identify the areas in which you think these are content beyond syllabus. And then deliver those content. You can deliver content in-house as well as you can invite also the external speakers or external experts also. It's not mandatory that, every time external expert has to be there. Who knows? You also may have that expertise because of your domain expertise. You may also deliver content beyond syllabus. Nothing wrong in it. Describe the process followed to improve quality of teaching learning. Obviously, there are various attributes. Every attribute will be checking. Quality of teaching learning. Now, when we say quality, quality has different aspects in terms of teaching learning process. And that's why these are the 7 attributes it has. The first and foremost attribute is adherence to academic calendar. We normally say we have 14 weeks or 16 weeks duration for your curriculum. Obviously, we will ask you whether you are teaching them for 14 to 16 weeks. Do you teach them 14 to 16 weeks? So, adherence of curriculum. Again, I am saying adherence of curriculum, we as an evaluator, we expect 100% may not be possible. You should at least comply 80% of what you have planned. You must be planning something before semester. At least you should be able to carry out 80% of the activities which are planned in term. I am talking about academic activities. Calendar will have all. Calendar will have academic activities, that is co-curricular, extracurricular, all activities will be there. But I am saying in all, 80% of the activities you must comply. Then we give you marks to that. Then various pedagogical initiatives. Now see, so many pedagogical things are there. In one of the institute recently I visited, let me tell you, see, every institute, I always have a learning. I always get something new. And that's why I always feel that every institute always has some uniqueness. One teacher I found in that institute, he has developed his own website, and he used to put everything, whatever learning resources which he will have on his web page, and student can download that. One teacher has done a group, and he said, I have uploaded my all videos, small videos, maybe small animation. For example, in a 3-phase induction motor, those who are from electrical engineering background might understand. 3-phase induction motor, the concept of rotating magnetic field is extremely difficult to explain. In my own institute, one teacher, what he has done, the outdated motor, he took out a rotor, he removed the rotor, and he said, sir, give me just 1,000 rupees, I want to do experiment. I said, okay, go ahead. And what he has done, he rewound completely a stator, given excitation to the stator, and he kept one steel ball inside that hollow cylinder. Motor, because rotor is not there now stator is there and hollow cylinder is there. He kept one that, and he said, sir, I will show you that how ball is moving. The moment slowly excitation is increased, a rotating magnetic field is produced, which has given a motion to that, and that ball will start rotating. He also demonstrated student how the direction can be reversed just by interchanging R and Y phase, and he showed that now ball is moving in opposite direction. This is a very small, simple experiment, but very innovative, gives a better understanding of the concept to the student. So for teaching a course, teacher might have some innovative ideas, and if I realize even one idea if I could get in that institute, oh, I give them full marks for this. Because we have to give weightage and credit to the creativity of a teacher. So we give this. That's why we say improve quality of teaching. Then do we have a methodology to support academically weaker and academically bright student? Academically weak student, yes. Academically weak student, you may conduct some remedial classes, extra classes. And for academically bright student, in one of the institute I observed, very good initiative they have done. What they said, you do some industrial project in the terms of micro project. They gave some industrial problems to them, and they said, okay, we'll provide you a financial support. And some of the excellent projects could come up in that small micro projects, but it helps to apply their creative mind. We try to realize what kind of avenues we provide. Classroom teaching anyway, on day 2, one of the agenda of our visit is on day 2, 9:30 to 10:30 will be in a class only. I normally what I do, I go to a class, I sit on the last bench, because that's the only chance when I get to sit on the last bench. Because during my engineering I used to sit on first bench. So now I get a chance to sit on the last bench. I just listen to the teacher for 20 minutes. 20 minutes I don't disturb the teacher. For 2 reasons. One, I come to know what topic he or she is teaching. And then I will ask after 20 minutes the teacher, can you leave the class? And then I will discuss with the student. I will ask some questions based on what he or she was teaching. To understand whether students are understanding what teacher is teaching. That gives me quality of teaching learning process. Because I have to observe that. Same thing I do in a laboratory also. But to understand that, obviously I sit in a class and I ask. At that time only I informally ask them some questions, that why are you studying this topic? What is the use of this topic? What is the use of this subject? Where you will apply this subject in your future or maybe in a real life? Such simple questions I ask the students and I discuss with them to understand quality of a classroom teaching. Then conduct of experiment, as I said, in a laboratory I go, I discuss with the student, how are you doing the experiment? And then I ask them, okay, show me one measurement. Okay, you have done this measurement, now show me the calculation. I spend 2 hours in a laboratory. Every laboratory I will visit, every laboratory I will go. 2 hours normally on day 1, 2 to 4 I will be in the laboratory and discussing with the student, all students. Maybe second year student, maybe first year student, third year student, all years. Continuous assessment. Again, continuous assessment is very important. I check how teacher assess journal. I'll give you one example. One of the journal I was assessing, and then the supply was given. And I asked teacher now, how to switch on this supply? Because the switch direction was altogether different. It should have been in a forward way, it was in a reverse way. Still teacher has corrected. Then I said, if you give a wrong correction and you say correct, and if you give 9 out, I am not against giving 9 out of 10 marks. I'm not saying don't give. But I am saying student must realize that he has made a mistake and you must correct that. Now, if you are using your red pen only for tick marking, that's not of use. You should correct. If something wrong he has drawn, you should put a cross over there and you should write what is correct one. That's what the continuous assessment. Continuous assessment doesn't mean one fine morning assessment. It's not a continuous assessment. Every experiment, next time you should be able to assess, and that I check. Many institutes I found really good record keeping. Again, for all of you should have 5 sample records of every year, every assessment year, of every lab. When I say 5 sample, 1 best, 1 average, 1 moderate. At least you should have all 3 records. In terms of projects also, in terms of laboratory record also. Minimum 5 samples in every laboratory you must have. You need not have 50 copies of all students. You need not have. 5 samples are good enough. Then student feedback on teaching learning. You all might be knowing AICT has given you a standard feedback form. 9 criteria are there. AICT Gazette notification dated 1st March 2019. If you don't know, you just go on the website of AICT, and that notification is already available on AICT website, dated 1st March 2019. There is a concept called as 360-degree feedback, in which 9 parameters are given for a teacher assessment, which is called academic feedback. That is, whether the teacher is able to communicate effectively, whether teacher is having a subject knowledge, whether teacher is able to clarify the doubts of the student, whether teacher is able to encourage and motivate student to think in a creative way. All these points are given. You should collect the feedback. Feedback has to be collected twice in a semester, at the mid of the semester, at the end of the semester. Why at the mid of the semester? Because after analyzing that feedback, if you realize that students are not understanding a course, then it is expected that HOD will associate some senior faculty with the junior faculty and help the teacher to improve in his teaching learning. We do not expect you to penalize a teacher. We expect you to handhold the teacher by giving him or her support of some senior faculty. And that's why feedback twice in a semester is required. All these things will be given 25 marks. So as an evaluator, I will check each and everything, and based on that, obviously marks will be given out of 25. Hope you are getting my point. Please feel free in case you have any doubt. Then 2.2.2 initiatives to improve quality of semester test and assignment. See, because continuous assessment, progressive assessment, whatever name you give, actually the test will be conducted by institute, right? MSBT does not give you test data. Then I will ask you how you are setting, what is your process of setting up a question paper for a test? How you set up question paper? What mechanism you have? Do you have a coordinator, test coordinator, who will ask everyone to submit their question paper? Then do you have a team, committee? Ani pahiजे? मला मी चहा नाही. मला 6 तास बोलायला मला काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही. तुम्ही चहा प्या, मग तुमच्यासाठी 2 मिनिटं, तोपर्यंत इन्फॉर्मल तुमचे प्रश्न असतील तर ते आपण चर्चा करू. हां, तुम्ही चहा प्या. तुमचा चहा तर तुम्ही कसं टीचर आहे ना, टीचर म्हटल्यामुळे जसं तुम्हाला मराठीत माहिती आहे ना, जलचर वायुचर तसं टीचर असतं. म्हणून तर टीचर म्हटले की तुम्हाला चहाची सवय आहे सगळ्यांना. त्यामुळे चहा प्या. तुम्ही इन्फॉर्मली काही विचारायचं असेल तर विचारा. आणि मला काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही, कारण मला बोलायची खूप सवय आहे. मी 6-6 तास बोलतो. 2 आठवड्यापूर्वी मी MGM नांदेडला गेलो होतो. 6 तास मी NPAवर बोललो. सकाळी 10-10:30 वाजल्यापासून 5 वाजेपर्यंत. 6ला पुन्हा ट्रेन होती. रात्रभर प्रवास केला मी. सकाळी 6 तास बोललो, पुन्हा रात्री पुण्याला वेळ नसल्यामुळे.
सर 7चं हे जे आपण बघतो एसएफआरचं,
हो.
प्री क्वालिफायर बनण्यासाठी 7ची एसएफआरची संपूर्ण तयारी झाल्याशिवाय बरोबर नाही असं आहे?
नाही, असा नियम नाहीये. पण तुम्हाला फक्त 60 दिवसाची विंडो मिळत असल्यामुळे तुम्हाला डेट एक्सटेंड करून मिळणार नाही. मग तुमचे 10% पैसे वाया जातील ना. तुमच्याकडे खूप पैसे असतील तर काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही, पण खूप पैसे नसतील तर मग थोडा विचार करा. आम्ही करतो, सरकारी असलो तरी आम्ही विचार केला. आम्ही आमचा 70% SAR तयार झाल्यावर प्री क्वालिफायर भरला. आम्ही आज रात्री प्री क्वालिफायर भरला, उद्या सकाळी मेल आला आम्हाला प्री क्वालिफायर इज अप्रूव्ड. तिथून आमचं विंडो सुरू होते 60 दिवसाची. विदिन 60 डेज अप्रूव्ह झाल्यानंतर 2 महिने, भरल्यापासून नाही. अप्रूव्ह झाला की तिथून 2 महिने मिळतात तुम्हाला. 60 दिवस
8 दिवसातच ते अप्रूव्ह करतात.
मॅक्सिमम सांगितलं, 1 दिवसात येतं. ऑटोमॅटेड सिस्टम आहे. ते काय चेक करतं? सॉफ्टवेअर. तुमचे पैसे भरलेत का 10% आणि तुमचे क्रायटेरियामध्ये तुम्ही बसता का. 2च गोष्टी चेक करतात. दॅट इज मॅक्सिमम. 1 दिवसात येतं, बऱ्याच वेळा 1-2 दिवसात येतं. वर्किंग डे. समजा फक्त आता तुम्ही शुक्रवारी भरलं तर तिथे कोणीतरी ते प्रोसेसिंगला नसेल तर सोमवारी, एवढंच. अदरवाईज नाही. पण तरी तुम्हाला फाईल प्रिपरेशनसाठी 2-3 महिने नंतर मिळतात ना. फाईल तुम्ही कदाचित आता तयार नका करू, फक्त डेटा कलेक्ट करा सगळा. पण नंतर 2 महिने मिळतील तुम्हाला. पण SAR मात्र 70% तयार झाला, 60 ते 70% तयार झाला की मग तुम्हाला 2 महिन्यात पूर्ण करता येईल. मेहनत फक्त जास्त घ्यायला लागते. सरकारी NBA हे तुम्हाला सरकारी पद्धतीने होणार नाही. म्हणजे 10 ते 5 किंवा 9 ते 5 जे काय तुमचे टायमिंग असतील त्याच्यात हे होत नाही. यू हॅव टू सिट ॲटलिस्ट 2 hours 3 hours एक्स्ट्रा, तरच होईल. एक्स्ट्रा बसल्याशिवाय होणारच नाही. आम्ही पण बसायचो, सरकारी असून पण आम्ही बसायचो. सगळ्यांना सांगितलं होतं नथिंग डुईंग, यू हॅव टू सिट. त्यामुळे तुम्हाला पण तसं करावं लागेल. म्हणूनच मी म्हटलं जाता जाता होणारी नाही, रिच्युअल म्हणून बघू नका. आपल्या घरात जसं लग्न असतं 2 महिने तयारी करायचे, लग्न झालं हुश, असं नाहीये. NBA असं करू नका. NBA असं करू नका. यू शुड लिव्ह विथ NBA. बिकॉज तुम्ही आता आवडीनं, भले तुम्ही आवडीनं नसाल आला, पण आता आलाय ना अकॅडमिक्समध्ये, मग ते आवडीनं करा. आता भले बऱ्याच जणांनी शेवटचा चॉईस काहीच नाही मिळालं, मग चला आता काहीतरी इकडे जाऊया असं करून पण आला असेल तरी आता हे चांगलं करा. ज्याच्यात आलं ते चांगलं करा. हा सगळ्यांना सल्ला राहील. ते नाही धरले जात. सुपर मेमरी कोटा नाही धरायचा. नाही येतच नाही. कम्प्युटर पण धरत नाही. सॉफ्टवेअर मध्ये ते प्रोव्हिजनच नाही. फक्त लॅटरल एंट्री धरली जाते, बाकी नाही काय. क्लिअर. पण सुपर न्यूमरी नाही धरला जात त्याच्यात. सुपर न्यूमरी येतच नाही सर. सुपर न्यूमरी नाही. EWS, TFWS हा येत नाही. बिकॉज दॅट इज सुपर न्यूमरी कोटा. लॅटरल एंट्री येस, बिकॉज इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ द ऍडमिशन प्रोसेस. म्हणून लॅटरल एंट्री फक्त येते. सुपर न्यूमरी कोटा डझंट. राईट. आय होप तुम्ही आता चहा पिऊन झाला असेल. नाही, महत्वाचे क्रायटेरिया, महत्वाचे पहिले 3 क्रायटेरिया तरी महत्वाचे डिस्कस व्हायला पाहिजेत म्हणून मी म्हटलं. So process of internal semester question paper. What is your process? How you set? Whether your questions are mapped with COs, whether there is a uniform coverage of the curriculum in your test papers. All these things I will verify as an evaluator. I will ask to show me the curriculum and for which you will be given marks. Evidence of COs coverage in a class test, midterm test and assignment. In case you are giving assignment, obviously whether that assignment also does have mapping of your COs. It is expected because everything is outcome based, so your obviously assignment also has to be CO based and that will be verified. Then quality of experiments. As I told you, we go in a laboratory and we verify that. Functionality of the equipment is very, very important. Your equipment has to be functional in the laboratory. You may have old equipments, no problem. We don't say that you should have every new equipment. we check only two things. We check whether do you have adequate equipments in the context of curriculum. So adequacy in the context of curriculum, whatever curriculum you are teaching, and B, functionality of the equipments which are available in the laboratory. Yes. Because students should get learning experience. Otherwise what happens? Oh, you give, okay, copy old journal readings. That doesn't give the learning to the student. Learning has to happen. Learning will happen only when you give them an experiential learning. And that's what precisely we check as an evaluator in a laboratory. So experimental methodology, I don't know whether you have that. But you can take, Bombay has developed virtual labs, you must be knowing. COEP has been given as a nodal agency for Maharashtra state. So you can get attached to COEP and you can do some virtual experiments in your institute. So see, the idea of virtual experiment is that you may not have all those big setups for carrying out the experiment. However, you can virtually give the students experience of carrying out that actual experiment, which is the equipment is sitting somewhere else, but through virtual mode, virtual reality. Now the world is of AR here. So through this virtual labs, you can give that experiential learning. Not necessary for all the experiments you have to give. Some experiments obviously you will be doing in your laboratory, but for few experiments you can give them that experience. Then quality of student projects and report writing, very very important. A student, as I told you, how we started, we expect that you should have projects. See, you may have academic projects also, no problem. Some study projects also, no problem. But you also must address some real life problems, either with the help of support of industries or otherwise also. We look at from the quality of experiments in different aspects. One, diversity in terms of the domain areas. B, working models. C, participation of these project students in various competitions so that they have come to know where we stand, and some publications coming out of this. We don't expect from diploma students some patents. If patents are there, nothing like that. Even one patent good enough. But we don't expect diploma student to have a patent. But even these 3-4 aspects of a project also will give you a good marks. And that's the reason identification and allocation methodology. What kind of process you are having for identifying the project? What is expected, I'll tell you. Normally, when I was professor in COEP, what we used to do? Suppose 18 faculty members were there. Every faculty will have 2 projects. So I will publish my 2 project abstracts on a notice board. Student will be asked to make a group of 3 or 4 students and ask them to give all the preferences as per their choice. Then based on their group average, because 3 to 4 students will be there, based on their group average and based on their preference, they will be allocated the project. That is a standard process of project allocation. That is what is expected. Second, so this is methodology. Relevance, I told you relevance. Relevance means some study projects can be there, industry-based project, real-life problem, because they have to be mapped with POs and PSOs. POs, program outcomes and program-specific outcomes, you have to map them, and that's why they must have relevance. Process for monitoring and continuous evaluation. You must have minimum 3 evaluations. If it is a 6-month project, you must have minimum 3 evaluations. In first evaluation, you must understand whether student have understood problem formulation, at least problem formulation and literature survey. In second stage, student must have developed some model of it, kind of simulation, and in third stage, implementation part. So these are the 3 stages in which gradual evaluation you must do for a student project. This is what we check, whether you have the mechanism for evaluating a project and whether you have a mechanism in a gradual progress, evaluating gradual progress of the student, and that's all. Identify individual and team contribution. How can you do this? You have to develop your own rubric. Have you heard the word rubric? Rubric is nothing but indirect assessment tool. Where direct assessment tools are inadequate to quantify or measure the activity, you can develop your own tool. Just to give simple example, in a laboratory, normally how will you give the mark to the student? Term work mark, one is attendance criteria, second is a journal completion. These are his belief you should not lose a belief of the student in a system, and that's why you should have your own mechanism. That's why my suggestion to all of you, all young teachers, don't become popular teacher, become good teacher. Good teacher, if you become a good teacher, no student will remember you throughout their life. Just to quote one example, when I was in Karad, I got a call just a month back from my one student. 20 years back he graduated, and he said, I am earning today my bread and butter because of you. I said, how? He said, you have taught a microprocessor and microcontroller in such a wonderful manner. I am working in Intel Singapore for last 20 years, and I am earning my bread and butter only on that. Because when I was teaching microprocessor, everything was in my brain only. All, today also I can tell you, all 8085, all 40 pins, every pin's configuration, all peripherals, 8279, 8253, 64, 6116 memory chips, right, 8237, DMA controller, 8255 PPI, those who teach microprocessor perhaps might recall that. See, because if you have to be passionate, and as a teacher, you must enjoy your lecture when you go to a class. The moment you go to a class and start scratching your head, a student will realize this person has not prepared at all. He has come just like that. Student will never, see, in my opinion, popular teacher's life is equal to the duration of the course only. Good teacher's life is throughout, student will remember. You may be, I am a strict teacher, I am a very strict teacher. In COEP, nobody used to come to my cabin unless and until he or she is a genuine one. Student will not normally dare. They will not normally take my project because they will say, if we take this person's project, we have to work very hard. He will not live like that. The student who doesn't want to work, they will not come to, they will not, we are happy. We don't want the people, because when you say, you are okay, I am okay, then system may bad me. System is not okay then. Because you say, you are okay, I am okay. You are happy, I am happy, system is not happy at all. Because that happens, no? So you have to be a good teacher. Don't become popular teacher, become a good teacher. And good teacher has to be passionate. Good teacher has to perform. Good teacher has to enjoy his or her lecture first. Then student around you will definitely enjoy. Why I am telling you this? Because this does happen. In COEP, my all lectures used to be early in the morning, 8:30. On day one only, I have told all my students one rule of the game. If you think that it's worth sitting in my class for 60 minutes, please do come. Otherwise, you can enjoy a cup of coffee with your friend in a canteen, I don't mind. And no student will be allowed to come once I enter the class, because in my entire academics, I have not gone even 1 minute late to my class, because I believe if I go 1 minute late, then I am actually late by 60 minutes, because 60 students are waiting for me in a class. If you believe in that, then no student will come to my class once I enter, because I have told them, if you want to come, you have to be on time. Don't tell me that reason, sir, bus late tha, sir, mera gaadi puncture ho gaya. There are n reasons for not doing the things. I always tell my student, tell me one reason for doing the things. Even for your boss also, you must be telling, if your boss or HOD or principal tells you, sir, to do some work, you will start telling them, sir, asa hai, sir, ashi adchan hai, mala thode ghari jayche hai, माझ्या घरी पूजा hai. N reasons you can tell for not doing the things. I always believe, tell one reason for doing the things. And that's why some teacher will always get more load because they are performing. Some people will not get any load, they don't do anything. All kind of people are there. I hope you are getting my point. Because these all are my friends. No, all these are passionate people. That's why they are here for last 30 years. They are here for 30 years. I was with them for 1.5 years. Then I got selected through MPSC. Then I moved to Government Institute. But still I am in touch. Every festival, Jaivan Jagtap will send me a message. Every last 30 years, every festival, every Diwali, Dashara, whatever festivals, his message will always be there. So,
but all teachers are not popular.
No, I am saying you should not be popular. You should be a good teacher. You should not be popular. They are not popular teacher. I know Jagtap is not at all popular teacher. I know. No, but he is a real teacher. Let me tell you that also. He is a real teacher. Because real teachers will never be a popular. I am not a popular, no. See, I am in an institute where 250 staff is working under me, 110 faculty members. So out of 250, I know that 249 will always give me gali. They will say, hey, dad, ye bahut bekar hai. No problem. then it is an indication that I am doing my job well. That is an indication that I am doing my job well. Otherwise, if they all are happy with me, something is wrong with me. I am not giving justice to my chair. When everyone is talking very bad about you, it means you are doing your job properly. Because I know Dr. Karim Sheikh, no, the faculty members here may not like him now, because he will put them always on task. He will tell them do this, so they will not like. It means he is doing his job, and that's what we have to do. Because we have to give justice to our chair. Perhaps we may not, in a democracy, we may not keep everyone happy. No? It's not possible, right? So be a good teacher. That's a simple message to all of you. Be a good teacher. Don't be a popular teacher. Industry interaction and community services. Obviously, here industry supported lab. Now, what is a timeline for me? किती वेळापर्यंत मला वेळ किती?
20 minutes.
अच्छा, अनदर 15-20 मिनिट्स आहे. ओके. आता छोटी गोष्ट सांगतो याच्यावरच, म्हणजे मी का विचारलं ते सांगतो. नाहीतर म्हणजे तसं व्हायला नको म्हणून मी सांगतो. तुम्हाला गोष्ट असाच एक असं वक्ता भाषण देत असतो. तुम्ही आता बसलेले आहे त्या रूमला 2 दरवाजे असतात, याला एकच असल्यामुळे थोडीशी अडचण आहे तुमची. तो वक्ता बोलत राहतो आणि एक जण राहतो. शेवटी एकच जण उठतो. त्याला खूप आनंद होतो की किमान एक तरी माणूस असा मी रोखू शकलो किंवा माझ्या भाषणामुळे तो थांबला. मग त्याला विचारतो की मला खूप आनंद झाला की तू ॲटलिस्ट एकटा तरी तू थांबलास. तो म्हणला तुमचा काहीतरी गैरसमज आहे. मला सांगितलंय हा दरवाजा बंद करायचा, फॅन ट्यूब सगळे बंद करून चावी जमा करायची, म्हणून मी थांबलोय. म्हणला मी तुमचं भाषण ऐकायला थांबलो. मला वाटतं असं होऊ नये म्हणून मी विचारलं की किती वेळ आहे. I hope that will not happen. In another 15-20 minutes, I'll try to finish it. Because see, I can talk hours together. No, that's the reason. These are just for you people, just for your reference. I'm just showing the slide. Otherwise, everything is there. I don't have to look at the slides. Industry supported lab. Industry supported lab means what? A industry has established a complete lab in your institute. You are just given a space. In last 6 months, I could develop one lab through CSR worth 1 crore rupees. KSB, Germany MNC has developed a lab wherein we are able to test now 25 HP submersible pumps. And in next phase, we are putting IoT devices in that lab so that the KSB people need not come to my institute for verifying the parameters. Sitting on their cabin, on their dashboard, they can see what parameters we are verifying for that machine. That is a concept of industry supported lab. It means industry has given you, donated that lab for better learning experience. Now what was a win for us? Every year now KSB is taking 10 students from mechanical and electrical. Because we are training them directly on their job and they are putting them on job rather than doing induction training. So they don't train them now because they say we have given you a facility, we have established a facility in your institute. Schneider Electric this year is going to do for electrical. So we are going to set up one lab for electrical engineering. That is a concept of industry supported lab. The idea of industry supported lab is that these labs will give a delivery of appropriate course by an industry expert. I gave you a couple of examples, that is curriculum gaps, to bridge a curriculum gaps or teach content beyond syllabus. Ideally what is expected, I'll tell you. At least 10% courses, 20% curriculum has to be taught by industry person. That is a concept over here expected by MBA. It means suppose in 3 years you are having 30 odd courses. So 3 courses, you identify which are the courses which are from emerging areas or which has a rapid technological developments, needs industry expertise. Or ask them to teach 20% curriculum only. They will only teach. They will not do assessment and all will be done by regular teacher, but 20% curriculum. Idea is that the people will get a different exposure, student will get a different perspective to look at the same course. For example, I am teaching a control system design course wherein I talk about PI, PID controllers. I talk about various controllers. But when I call a process control engineer from maybe Siemens automation, he will give a different perspective to the student in the context of automation and how the controllers are actually implemented in the automation process. Idea is that, and that's why it is expected that industry, that's the reason industry interaction and community services is a title given to that sub-criteria is because of that. So, industry delivery of industrial visits and tours, which you must be definitely doing. Whenever we take our student, my suggestion to all of you, have just 3-4 questions, questionnaire to the student before visiting the industry, and again ask the same questions after coming back after visiting the industry, just to know the impact of an industrial visit. Suppose for example for second year students, if you are taking them to some power plant, maybe a hydroelectric power plant, Koina Nagar, or even at home also, or Kaner also small micro hydro power plant is there. If you take them, they will realize and they will understand how potential energy of water gets converted into kinetic energy, then into mechanical energy, and then into electrical energy. Or they will realize how this conversion happens. They might be knowing a theory, but they will understand the impact of these conversions in a real life, which will add a value to their knowledge base. That's why the industrial visits or industrial tours are organized for giving them a real life exposure of what technology or what concepts they learn in a class. That's why industrial visits. And internships. Now AICT has made 12 weeks internship mandatory, even K curriculum also has 12 weeks internship mandatory. AICT says in fact 6 months internship. Because unless and until they go to industry, understand what is the industry culture, work on industrial problems, they will not realize what industry needs from academicians. Now anyway we are doing 6 weeks internships, you must have done 6 weeks internships till last year for the student. But in my opinion, personal opinion, 6 weeks duration is very, very small duration. By the time they go to the industry, by the time the under is doing about the industry, their internship period gets over. You can encourage your students to take some online internships also for learning. May not be a mandatory part, but learning. Internshala is one excellent portal that AICT has developed. You all might be aware. Internshala, where thousands of internships are there. Means if you get selected, shortlisted for those internships, you will get some stipend for that period, internship period. So obviously for that there will be certain criteria, you have to appear for some test, you have to go through that rigorous process, but they will. But that will help. So this is what is expected here, industrial training or internship, industrial visit. Then post, this is what I was talking about, impact analysis. Post training internship assessment. It is impact analysis. See, students are only doing internship, but what is the usefulness of that internship? What students have learned in that internship? To know that, you have to do the impact analysis, and that is the post training assessment. And contribution to a community related projects or activities. That's the real reason I said you have to take some real life problems. There are various schemes, right? Unnat Bharat Abhiyan is there, Unnat Maharashtra Abhiyan is also there. Some villages are adopted by an institute, and obviously you can do some community development projects. Such projects can also be a part of your final year projects also. So this is what is expected here in this aspect, and that's how the marks are given for industry interaction and community services. Just look at the quantum of marks, 30 marks are given. That's the reason I said program, curriculum and teaching learning, this criteria to 200 marks are given for diploma institute because of these reasons, that student must get involved into the skills and they must imbibe in different skills. That is ideal. Information access and facilities and student-centric learning. Now information access. Now as I said, teacher is required. Why teacher is required? There is one Baba known as Google Baba. Google Baba is there, everything it takes. Nowadays Chat GPT, people talk about Chat GPT also. Right? I always believe these are tools. They do not have intelligence. Google may tell me, if I ask what is Ohm's law, Google may tell me what is Ohm's law. Or what is Kirchhoff's law, Kirchhoff's current law, or it will say algebraic sum of currents reaching at a node in any electrical network is 0. Google will immediately give me what is Kirchhoff's current law. Does it tell me why the algebraic sum is 0? So Google only gives information. You need a teacher to transform that information into a knowledge. So teacher provides, you talk about Bloom's taxonomy, right? 6 levels of learning are there. Remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, creating. Oh, remembering, Google will work on remembering level. It doesn't work on analysis or understanding level. For that teacher is required. You need teacher of current is 0 because current is nothing but flow of electrons, and electrons cannot accumulate at a point, and therefore whatever number of electrons reaching at a node, they must leave the node also. And that's why that incoming is equal to outgoing, or algebraic is equal to 0. If you assume incoming current is positive and outgoing is negative, that algebraic sum will become 0. This is what is understanding level, and for that teacher is required. So teacher is the one who transforms the information into a knowledge, because information will be there. Lot of information is available in public domain. In this criteria, what we expect? Do you provide opportunities for the student to explore the ocean of information? A. It means we have various resources, learning, student-centric learning resources. In that, even your own videos or even NPTEL videos, if you have made available to the student, I hope you are knowing NPTEL, National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning, excellent initiative by IIT Bombay and IIT Chennai, right? A lot of learning resources. Even I believe teachers should refer those NPTEL videos, because if you read or if you listen the person who is teaching a DSP course, if you listen to Dr. Gadre, Vikram Gadre, IIT Bombay, you will get a different perspective to teach that subject. Such as stalwarts are there whose lectures are easily available to you, because they may not be able to reach thousands of teachers in the country, but they are reaching through this medium of NPTEL videos. So my suggestion to teachers will be, at least you should go through those videos which are relevant to the courses which you are teaching. It will give you a different perspective to teach your course. I just gave you one example, because that tells you different perspective to teach your course, and in fact you will be able to teach the same course in a better manner which you are teaching now, because you understand, this is a way in which I should also think when I teach a course. So this is what is expected here, student-centric learning and effective implementation of that. Do you discuss with the student? Do you give them a case studies? Do you ask them, okay, go through this video lecture and we can have a discussion. You can have informal discussion also. It's kind of peer learning also. Student, if you encourage student peer learning, they learn better. So these are the initiatives which the department or program has to give to the student, for which 50 marks are given. That's what I have mentioned here. Webinars, NPTEL videos or MOOCs. Is there, you all might be aware, right? You may encourage your student to participate in that, or who has stopped you in conducting a 2 weeks training, maybe in the summer or winter, based on the vacation period for the students, based on the skill which you feel the student must have. Maybe civil engineering student, maybe AutoCAD as one tool. Basically, it's a software tool. Or you may conduct 2 weeks training for them, giving exposure for them AutoCAD, or maybe ANSYS for a mechanical engineering student, or maybe a MATLAB. It may be a part of course, but course may have limitation. Your course may have those contents, but they will be limited one. Do you want to embed a skill so that someone wants to pursue his or her career extensively in those areas? Are you giving them an opportunity? This is what is expected here. And then obviously, one is a professional development, another is a personality development, which you must be doing. Your training placement department must be doing these activities. So this is what is expected in this professional development training, and this is what we achieve. And obviously, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. When you conduct co-curricular activities, ensure that your institute has, or a department has, student chapters. For example, Computer Society of India student chapter, or Institution of Engineers student chapter, or IST student chapter. I am saying student chapter. Faculty may be member of those, but student chapters also you must have. And under the umbrella of student chapters, please conduct some activities for the student. Maybe a simple quiz competition. One simple example. Or you can conduct a technical quiz competition, or maybe a paper presentation. See, first year student may not be mature to write a paper, technical paper. Perhaps they may not be able to understand itself. But for them you can conduct a quiz competition, technical quiz competition, which will enhance their technical knowledge. Idea is that, see, through this quiz competition, make learning interesting. Through this quiz competition, you will make learning interesting, and obviously their knowledge base will also be improved. Any questions? Anybody? No questions? Then two observations. One, not understood anything. Yes.
महाराष्ट्रातले वेगवेगळे आपण इकडे येऊ शकतात का?
त्याचं उत्तर बिग नो असं आहे. त्याचं कारण सांगतो. महाराष्ट्रातला कोणताही इव्हॅल्युएटर तुमच्या कॉलेजमध्ये येणार नाही. एनबीएच्या गाईडलाईन्समध्ये क्लिअर आहे. नॉर्मली मला ऍडजस्टंट राज्य पण येत नाही. म्हणजे आलं तरी मला काय होतं, आता मला गुजरात आलं होतं पण एकदम उत्तर गुजरात राजकोट आलं. आता पुढच्या महिन्यात मी कुठे चाललो, ओडिसा. मग माझा काहीच संबंधच नाही.
तुमचा आम्हाला उपयोग नाही.
अजिबात नाही, शून्य. नाही, डायरेक्टली नाही पण इनडायरेक्टली उपयोग आहे. म्हणजे तुम्हाला मार्गदर्शन करण्यासाठी उपयोग होईल माझा. मार्गदर्शन करण्यासाठी इव्हॅल्युएशन नाही, चांगली गोष्ट आहे. मी फार स्ट्रिक्ट इव्हॅल्युएटर आहे तसं, त्याच्यामुळं मग असं. पण मी लिनियंट आहे. मी बघतो की तुम्ही जेन्युइन जाणवला तर मी त्या विद्यार्थ्याला पास करतो, इमिडिएटली पास करतो. डे 1लाच ठरलेलं असतं हा विद्यार्थी पास होणार आहे का ना. आणि मी सांगितलं पण सक्सेस रेट आमचा खूप जास्त आहे, 95% सक्सेस रेट आहे. त्यामुळे नॉर्मली विद्यार्थी पासच होतो, कारण त्यांची 3 वर्षाची मेहनत असते. त्यांनी गेली 2 वर्ष मेहनत केलेली असते खूप. या सगळ्या गोष्टींचं वेटेज दिलं जातं आणि बघितलं जातं. येस. आता माझ्याकडे किती 5 मिनिटं दिले का मला अजून? मी क्रायटेरिया 3 मधलं तुम्हाला जिस्ट सांगतो फक्त. पुढचे क्रायटेरिया आहेत ते नंबर्सच आहेत, त्यामुळे आपण क्रायटेरिया 3 चर्चा करूया आणि मग थांबूया. चालेल? ओके. कारण महत्वाचा क्रायटेरिया कोर्स आउटकम अँड प्रोग्राम आउटकम. मेनी टाइम्स व्हॉट हॅपन्स, अनफॉर्च्युनेटली people don't understand how to map COs with POs. What they think, there are 7 POs, I must map every course with all 7 POs, which is not correct. Please understand, if one course is getting mapped with all 7 POs, then why remaining 29 courses are there in curriculum? You have to understand the correlation. I am not saying one course may get mapped to 3 or 4 POs, definitely. Again, levels may be different. For example, engineering mathematics course, so he or she may be able to add a value to what I have articulated, and that is how you should finalize your course outcomes. So stage 1 is articulation of course outcomes. If you properly articulate course outcomes, your 50% job is done in mapping, because mapping many a times becomes chaos because of improper articulation of course outcome. You may say that, sir, K curriculum has already given course outcomes. No problem. Just ensure that they really map your curriculum, particular course. If you think they are adequate, go ahead with them. If you think they are too many, try to club them together. If you think they are not adequate, you want to add, you can add. As a evaluator, we will never ask you a question why you have these many course outcomes. Only thing we'll ask you, now explain us its mapping with POs and assessment and attainment. I hope you are getting my point. Now, so first part is articulation. Second part is mapping. As I said, mapping again relation. It's a relation. 3 to 1. Find out what is the keyword of that particular CO. Find out the keyword of PO and see to what extent that is getting mapped. One CO may get mapped with more than one PO, please understand, with various levels. For example, CO1 gets mapped with PO1 with level 1. It may get mapped with PO2 with level 3 also. And it may get mapped with level 5, PO5 with level 2. So it's not necessary that one CO will get mapped with only one PO, not at all. And it may get mapped with different levels. But it is not mandatory that every CO should have different levels, not necessary. It all depends upon what is the correlation between your course outcome and program outcome. I hope you are getting my point. This is a simple thing which you have to keep it in mind while articulating the COs. There are 7 POs, as you know, for diploma. Obviously, for engineering program, there are 12 graduate attributes. For diploma program, there are 7 graduate attributes. Some of them are combined together, some of them have been completely removed. For example, investigation of complex problem has been removed from a diploma because we don't do any kind of research there. And that's why that has been removed. Some of them have been combined together, and that's the reason those 12 have been reduced to 7. These are basically the revised graduate attributes for diploma. As you all know, basic and discipline specific knowledge, problem analysis, design development of solutions, engineering tools, experimentation and testing, engineering practices for society, sustainability and environment. In engineering program, engineering and society and sustainability is environment and sustainability are two different graduate attributes. They are combined together here. Project management and lifelong learning. Please keep it in mind, lifelong learning is a continuous process. Lifelong learning means what? You inculcate ability among the student, you develop ability among the student to have a. What does it mean? For example, I graduated 25 years back, but today also I learn new concepts. Why? Because my fundamentals are clear. I have been developed with the fundamental knowledge of my engineering courses, and that's why I can understand now any advanced course. That is a process of lifelong learning. Lifelong learning means what? It's an ability inculcated among the student to learn on a continual basis. It's not a stagnant learning. That's a concept of lifelong learning. So these are the 7 attributes. You have to articulate course outcomes. This is what? Course outcomes. In SCR you have to develop course outcomes. In fact, you have to write only for one course per semester of a study. However, at the back end you have to develop it for all the courses. For example, 30 odd hour courses, if you are having in a diploma course, you have to develop COs for all. Then assessment and attainment. Obviously mapping, just now I told you the mapping, how you have to do the mapping. Mapping has to have relevance. Then comes assessment. Please understand, for assessing the course outcomes, you have 2 tools. One is a direct assessment tool, another is an indirect assessment tool. What are the direct assessment tools? Your examinations are direct assessment tools. And indirect assessment tool for a CO is a course exit survey. At the end of every semester, on a last day, you should ask 3 or 4 simple questions to the student to capture the learning of that particular course. That is called as a course exit survey. Please do not mix with a program exit survey. Program exit survey is captured holistically from all the students at the end of the program. Course exit survey is captured from every student at the end of the semester by every course teacher, which is used to 20% of the extent for CO assessment. 80% will go as a direct, maybe an internal evaluation as well as an external evaluation, and 20% will go as an indirect. Similarly, for program outcomes, PO, then comes PO. Now, one more aspect I will tell you in this. Target. Many times people have confusion in setting up a target. Say, how should you set a target? Now, what it says, for example, you are affiliated to MSBT board. In board examination, you might be calculating your TSI, PSI. You may take TSI or PSI, theory score index and practical score index as some reference for setting up your target. Now, whenever you set a target, once you assess that is for attainment. So, after attainment, if you realize that target is achieved, then you should set a higher target. If it is not achieved, you should do the root cause analysis. That why we could not achieve this target, why we could not do the analysis, plan the actions, again implement those, do the impact analysis subsequent year, and find out whether it could be attained or not. Now, attainment benchmark is if 85% of the set level is attained, then it is attained. It's not 100% level. Suppose if you are set level 2 as your target level, so 85% of that comes up to be 1.7. So if your attainment is 1.7, then it is attained. It is not 2. Then you should subsequently set higher. Implement that, do the impact analysis. This is what you should do for CO attainment. I hope you are getting my point. Time, because of time possibly, otherwise I have given you 3 hours lecture on one case study of COPO assessment and attainment only. How we can take one course and how we can do the COPO assessment, attainment, mapping and all. Maybe some other time I'll do that. But because I am today here to just discuss with you evaluator's perspective, what exactly we evaluate, So I check these things, how you have set a target, how you have done the assessment, how you have achieved the attainment. If attainment is not attained, or then set target is not attained, what you have done. So this is what I am just discussing with you. And that's how list of assessment tools and the quality and relevance of assessment tools. What I discuss with you will be evaluated here. And then obviously the attainment of the POs and PO, PSO, obviously 80%, 20% indirect, these are stakeholder surveys. All employer, industry, alumni, parent, all stakeholders, that is 20%. And one of the program exit survey. So program exit survey will capture that. That is one of the aspects. So all these will come as a 20%, 80% will directly come from CO attainment, and that's how it will make 80-20. So direct attainment will be 80%, which will come from CO attainment, and 20% will be from indirect assessment. And this is how this will be calculated. This is what I wanted to discuss with you. I hope remaining are the criteria which are, yes, I have exceeded some time, but I hope you will excuse me for that. Remaining criteria are number based, but you must have understood the gist of how we as an evaluator assess. I try to just give you the little insight of how we evaluate. I hope if I have given you some data input to that, my purpose of traveling 120 kilometers gets served. Thank you very much. That's what I said. You can use it as it is. If you feel it is appropriate, you need to look at it. See, I told you the curriculum is designed for institute in Mumbai as well as Gadchiroli. You need to understand if it fits into your actions. Go ahead, no problem. Yes, you can. You can. You are free to do that. Yes, thank you. No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Really, I just want to tell one thing to Dr. Bangal, sir. Our auditorium hall doesn't have any another door, but we are not want to use or left from your lecture from that door, but we all are want to listen and listen and listen your lecture in whole session. Okay, so I just want to invite our principal sir to tell something.
आजचा जो आपण सेशन इव्हॅल्युएशन पर्सेंटेजचा आपण लक्षात घेतला, याच्यामध्ये सरांनी 3 क्रायटेरिया विषयी अतिशय सिंपल लँग्वेज मध्ये एक्सप्लेन केलं सरांनी सगळ्या आयडिया ज्या आहेत MBAच्या त्या सगळ्या आपल्यासमोर मांडल्या आणि सरांनी असं सांगितलंय पण की कुठल्याही याच्यामध्ये आपण या उरलेल्या क्रायटेरिया त्याच्यामध्ये ऍक्च्युली नुसतं कामकाज करायचं पण हे इनिशिएशन आहे. क्रायटेरिया नंबर 1, क्रायटेरिया नंबर 2 and 3 टू इनिशिएट द प्रोसेस ऑफ MBA आणि अतिशय ल्युसिड अशा लँग्वेज मध्ये, अतिशय सिंपल लँग्वेज मध्ये आणि उदाहरणं देत सरांनी आपल्याला सुंदर असं मार्गदर्शन सरांनी केलेलं आहे आणि आय होप दॅट we will definitely work out on this MBA process. सरांनी सांगितल्याप्रमाणे हे काय असं आपल्या घरचं लग्न वगैरे नाही की महिना दीड महिना अगोदर तयारी होते लगेच संपतं, लग्न झालं की संपलं काम, असं काही नाही. कारण याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला रेग्युलर याच्यामध्ये बऱ्याचशाच ऍक्टिव्हिटी ह्या आपल्याला करत असताना वेगवेगळे पॅरामीटर्स, वेगवेगळ्या गोष्टी या क्रायटेरिया नंबर 1 तो तयार करेल, 2 तयार करेल, 3 तयार करेल, 4 वरती ज्याचं कोऑर्डिनेशन असेल. याच्यामध्ये सगळ्यांचं एक टीम वर्क आहे आणि एक ह्या टीम वर्क मध्ये आपण नक्की सरांच्या लेक्चरमुळे किंवा सरांच्या मार्गदर्शनामुळे आपल्याला एक चांगला असं एनर्जी प्राप्त झाली. आपण सर्वांनी या सातारा पॉलिटेक्निक असेल, ABIT असेल, NSC असेल, या पॉलिटेक्निकचे फॅकल्टी मेंबर सुद्धा या ठिकाणी बांदल सरांच्या या अतिशय महत्त्वपूर्ण अशा इव्हॅल्युएशन पर्स्पेक्टिव्हच्या या मार्गदर्शन सत्राला उपस्थित राहिलेले आहे. आणि आपण निश्चितपणे आता लक्षात घ्या की सरांनी इंजिनिअरिंग साईडला म्हणजे कॉलेज ऑफ इंजिनिअरिंग पुणेला सरांची बरीचशी सेवा झाली, परंतु CII नॉर्म्स जे आहेत 17चे आता 2-7 वर्ष चालले, 8-10 वर्ष चालले, त्याचं 65-66 पानाचं जे हे आहे ते संपूर्णपणे सरांनी बनवलेलं आहे. याच्यामध्ये त्यांची जी क्रय शक्ती आहे किंवा त्यांचे एक इंटेलेक्चुअल पॉवर आहे हे सर्व सरांनी अगदी चांगल्या पद्धतीनं म्हणजे MSBT ला सुद्धा त्यांनी एक चांगला एक टूल चांगलं प्राप्त करून दिलेलं आहे. सरांचं KSKIM मध्ये सुद्धा चांगलं योगदान आहे. सर जरी आता गव्हर्नमेंट पॉलिटेक्निक पुण्याला म्हणजे त्यांचं ऑटोनॉमस बॉडी असेल तरी परंतु MSBT ची सर नेहमी याच्यामध्ये असतात, कॉन्टॅक्ट मध्ये असतात. MSBT सुद्धा सरांना त्यांच्या सगळ्या ज्या काही आयडियाज आहेत त्यांच्या ज्या काही त्या अगदी होल हार्टेड बांदल सरांनी MSBT ला दिलेले आहे. खरं तर आपलं भाग्य म्हणायला पाहिजे, समजायला पाहिजे की CII नॉर्म्स ज्यांनी तयार केले ती व्यक्ती आपल्याकडे साधर व्यक्ती म्हणून आमच्या विनंतीला मान देऊन या ज्ञान मंदिरामध्ये आली. निश्चितपणे सर मी तुम्हाला मनस्वीमध्ये तुमचं म्हणजे हृदयपूर्वक असं स्वागत पण करतो, अभिनंदन पण करतो. कारण आमचा जो हा तरुण वर्ग आहे हा MBA करण्यासाठी आणि हे पॉलिटेक्निकची 40 वर्षाची सरांनी सांगितली आम्ही 7-8 मेंबर जे राहिलेलो आहे पॅशनेट आहे. म्हणजे बाकी 5-6 महिने नाही तर एक 3-4 आठवडे राहिले असताना सुद्धा जगताप सर हल्ले नाही. 2 तासाच्या सरांच्या मार्गदर्शनामध्ये ते बिलकुल हल्ले नाही. म्हणजे याच्यामध्ये थोडंसं नाही म्हणलं तरी पॅशनेट नेचर हे टीचरचं असणं गरजेचं आहे. आपण सुद्धा याच्यामध्ये जरूर या कर्मवीर भाऊराव पाटील पॉलिटेक्निक महाविद्यालयाला एक MBA सारखं एक मानांकन आपण देण्यामध्ये सगळेच खालीचा वाटा उचलूया. सगळ्यांनी अगदी हे नाही केलं तर चालेल पण एक माझं काहीतरी काम आहे या याच्यामध्ये क्रायटेरिया नंबर 1 मध्ये मी काहीतरी कॉलेजला देईन, कॉलेज मध्ये हे करेन, क्रायटेरिया 2 मध्ये मी काय योगदान देईन, 3 मध्ये काय देईन, 4 मध्ये काय देईन, याच्या संदर्भातला आजपासूनच आपण खऱ्या अर्थानं विचार करूया. आणि डेफिनेटली सरांना मी म्हटलं की सर म्हटले की पॉलिटेक्निकच्या अभ्यासक्रमामध्ये डिप्लोमाचं MSBT ॲफिलिएटेड जे पॉलिटेक्निक आहे आणि जे म्हणजे खऱ्या अर्थानं जे ज्या गोष्टी करतात अकॅडमिक ॲडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव्ह ज्या गोष्टी वेळच्या वेळी करत असतात त्यांना MBA मध्ये फारसा अवघड नाही. आणि 6 वर्षाचं झालं 3 वर्षाचं तरी आपल्याला MBA कसं मिळेल कारण ही जुनी संस्था आहे, जुनी शाखा आहे, रयतचं एक जुनं महाविद्यालय आहे. त्याच्यामध्ये सर या चर्चासत्रामध्ये अगदी आनंदानं सहभागी झाले. आम्हाला त्यांच्या COEP मधल्या करिअरविषयी सरांनी अगदी इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजिनिअरिंगचे सगळं इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजिनिअरिंगच्या रूपानं त्यांनी हे क्रायटेरिया तिन्ही अगदी चांगले एक्सप्लेन केलं. त्याबद्दल मी प्रभारी प्राचार्य म्हणून सरांचं म्हणजे मनपूर्वक असं हे करतो. अँड ओव्हर टू वर्देवी सर फॉर वोट ऑफ थँक्स.
नमस्कार. माझी पहिली रिॲक्शन ही आहे, मला प्राऊड फील झालं. आमचे सहकारी आमच्या बरोबर ज्यांनी काम केलं ते आज कुठपर्यंत गेलेले आहेत याचा एक 2 तासात आम्हाला एक झलक बघायला मिळाली आणि त्याचा खूप आनंद झालेला आहे सर. दुसरं, माझी एक संकल्पना एक होती, एक चांगला टीचर चांगला ऍडमिनिस्ट्रेटर असतो, पण आज ती तुम्ही खोडून काढली आहे सर. यू आर व्हेरी गुड टीचर, यू आर व्हेरी गुड ऍडमिनिस्ट्रेटर. तर मी शिक्षक म्हणून सुद्धा सुंदर काम केलेलं आहे, वेगवेगळ्या पदावर काम केलेलं आहे. ईश्वरी म्हणून असेल, गव्हर्नमेंट पॉलिटेक्निक पुणे आपल्याकडे आलेला विद्यार्थी पहिला सांगतो की मला जायचंय गव्हर्नमेंट पॉलिटेक्निक पुणे, त्याचा पहिला प्रेफरन्स तो. अशा ठिकाणी सर प्राचार्य म्हणून त्यांनी काम केलेलं आहे. दुसरा, आज एक मोठा फायदा झालेला आहे आमच्या विद्यार्थ्यांच्या दृष्टीनं की एक प्रगती स्कीम तुम्ही जी डेव्हलप केलेली आहे विद्यार्थिनींसाठी, मुलींच्यासाठी, त्याची माहिती तुम्ही आम्हाला दिली आहे. निश्चितच त्याचा फायदा आमच्या विद्यार्थ्यांना देऊ. आज MBAचे तुम्ही बरेच क्रायटेरिया, डिसर्टेशन असू दे, कसे त्या ठिकाणी आपण फॉर्म करायचे किंवा लॅबोरेटरीज असू दे, कंटिन्युअस असेसमेंट कसं करावं, MBAचं मानांकन कसं मिळावं, ह्याच्यापेक्षा विद्यार्थी कसा घडवावा हे आम्हाला समजलं. लर्निंग हाऊ लर्निंग टेक्स प्लेस. आणि मला वाटतं की MBA मिळण्यापेक्षा सुद्धा आमचा विद्यार्थी जर घडवू आम्ही शकलो तर मला वाटतं की आमचं एक मोठी अचिव्हमेंट आहे. MBA 3 वर्षाचा आहे, तर तो विद्यार्थी आयुष्यभर घडणार आहे. तर या दृष्टीनं आज आमच्या पॉलिटेक्निक तर्फे तुमचे आभार मानतो आणि असंच वर्षभर आम्हाला मार्गदर्शन मिळो अशी मी आमच्या पॉलिटेक्निक तर्फे मी रिक्वेस्ट करतो. त्याचबरोबर आज आपल्याला वोट ऑफ थँक्सचं काम केलेलं आहे. आमचे प्राचार्य नेहमी आमच्या पाठीमागे असतात आणि मुलांची टेस्ट सकाळी घेतात आणि आमची टेस्ट दुपारी घेतात. अशा पद्धतीने त्यांनी जरा पण सुट्टी न देता कायम बांधून ठेवतात आणि एक पद्धतीचा अवेअरनेस जो आहे तो जो निर्माण झालेला आहे. मला वाटतं असं एक आपल्याकडे एक प्रथा झालेली आहे, क्लास टेस्ट 1 म्हणलं की एव्हरीथिंग. त्यामुळे मी आपल्या सर्वांच्या वतीनं हा जो अवेअरनेस आलेला आहे त्याच्याबद्दल मी प्राचार्य डॉक्टर PC शेख सर यांचं मी आभार मानतो. आज शेवटचा दिवस आहे, माझ्याकडे आभाराचं काम दिलेलं आहे. आमच्या प्रोग्रामच्या चीफ कोऑर्डिनेटर जाधव मॅडम, आता ते पण एक प्रथा झालेली आहे, MDP म्हणलं की जाधव मॅडम. त्यामुळं त्यांचे पण आपण या ठिकाणी सक्सेसफुल त्या ठिकाणी MDP झाला म्हणून मी त्यांचे आभार मानतो. त्यांच्याबरोबर हे काम ज्यांनी यांच्यामध्ये कॉन्ट्रीब्युशन दिले त्या सर्वांची मी नावं घेतो. रजिस्ट्रेशन कमिटीमध्ये उत्तेकर मॅडम आणि घोरपडे मॅडम आहेत. त्यानंतर इनॉग्रेशन आणि व्हॅलिडिटी याच्यासाठी इंगोरे मॅडम आणि पवार मॅडम यांनी कॉन्ट्रीब्युशन केलेलं आहे. स्टेज अरेंजमेंट शेख मॅडम आणि काळे मॅडम यांचं पण या ठिकाणी मी आभार मानतो. त्यानंतर डिझाईन आणि प्रिंटिंग ऑफ पोस्टर कमिटी, म्हणजे डिझाईन म्हणजे काय आता खडतरी मॅडम हे फिक्स झाले. तर गडकरी मॅडम मी आभार मानतो. सर्टिफिकेट आम्हाला मिळणारच आहे असं मी समजतो. आणि आता सर आणि बोराटे सर यांचे मी आभार मानतो. न्यूजपेपर पब्लिसिटी होईलच अशी अपेक्षा व्यक्त करून केंद्रे मॅडमचे मी आभार मानतो. फीडबॅक कमिटी आहे कुमार सर आणि RS माने सर त्यांचे आभार मानतो. सुंदर अशी रांगोळी काढली होती पहिल्या दिवशी. मला देखणी रांगोळी होती. त्याच्याबरोबर पुढे मॅडम, बाबा मॅडम आणि जे कोणी आणखीन असतील ते सगळेच डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली जे कोणी इन्व्हॉल्व असतील क्लिनिंग कमिटीसाठी दसके मॅडम आणि त्या देशमुखताई त्यांचे आभार मानतो. त्यानंतर मला वाटतं की स्ट्रीमिंग आज आम्हाला परत बघायचंय. बांधव सरांचं जे काय सांगितलं त्यावेळेला आम्हाला तसेच समजलं. सर्वात महत्त्वाचा पार्ट आहे की स्ट्रीमिंग केलेलं आहे. म्हणजे धोबे सर आहेत, गडकरी मॅडम आहेत, पवार मॅडम आहेत. या सर्वांचं मी या ठिकाणी आभार मानतो. त्याचबरोबर या ठिकाणी NBAचे कोऑर्डिनेटर जे आहेत आमचे येवले सर, जाधव मॅडम यांनी भरपूर काम करायचंय म्हणून त्यांचे मी आभार मानतो. आणि कोणाचं राहिलं असेल नाव माझ्याकडनं ते डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली ज्यांनी या ठिकाणी कॉन्ट्रीब्युशन दिले त्या सर्व विभाग प्रमुख, शिक्षक सर्वांचं खूप खूप आभार. आणि प्राचार्यांच्या बरोबर